When the sheriff of Wallace, Idaho was arrested recently for racketeering, the townsfolk were outraged. But they weren't mad at the local lawman. They were upset with the federal agents who brought him down. Now Frank Grimes takes us to the Wild West town where there's about to be a showdown for the sheriff.
This is the end of what we call the Old West.
It had gone on for so long, and just why all of a sudden did this have to happen?
If what I think is going to happen happens, it'll round out a full day.
Seems a lot is suddenly happening in Wallace, Idaho. This historic mining town, nestled deep in Idaho's rugged panhandle, is mostly known for its silver mines. But for more than a century, hard rock miners have known they could come down off the mountain to Main Street for a cold beer, a hot game of poker, and maybe a warm body in an upstairs brothel.
You sleepy, tall man?
Nope.
Tired?
No.
Worried? Or maybe just plain bored?
Not a chance, baby.
Growing up here, you know, it was always the prostitutes were in Wallace. That was the way it was.
We grew up with him, and you didn't even give him a second thought.
But when thinking of the Wild West, it's hard to imagine a place wilder than Wallace.
More whiskey.
A town where the madams are generous, not only with their girls' favors, but also with their cash. They outfitted the high school band and even the local Little League.
The ladies that ran the places, the brothels and stuff like that, they shopped in the local grocery stores. They walked down the street just like any normal person would. They treated the people of Valley good.
But all this illegal activity came to a screeching halt last June when feds rolled into town and broke up the poker and prostitution and put an end to the town's tawdry tradition. It was a Sunday morning when 150 FBI agents broke down the barroom door. Sam Eismann is a local attorney in Shoshone County.
On that fateful day in June of '91, when 150 FBI agents swooped in, seized all their money, put liens on their bars, and said, hey, you people are out of business.
But locals can't figure out why it took the feds more than a century to see that all might not be on the up and up here in Wallace. Residents say their town gave a green light to the red light district long ago. In fact, according to some, the most important job of Sheriff Frank Crnkovich was to shield all this shady behavior.
He allegedly did not enforce the laws relating to prostitution. He aided and abetted a couple other individuals who were machine vendors in that area.
The feds say when old Sheriff Crnkovich wasn't busy upholding the law, he was busy taking bribes from the local madams and bar owners. Authorities say they even helped buy a squad car for the sheriff's office. In exchange, the sheriff allegedly protected the poker and prostitution. Whenever the sheriff heard outside law enforcement was coming in, he reportedly tipped them off with a phone call. But these days, the sheriff is making only one call a day, to his attorney.
As I read the indictment, that he is a racketeer and guilty of violating the Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organizations Act.
Maybe I ought to go apologize.
After 150 years, this rough and ready town is finally tamed. The poker games have folded, the gambling machines are unplugged, and the red lights in the empty brothels are dim. Meanwhile, the sheriff has a date in court facing 20 years for racketeering.
There have been many, many sheriffs before him. Why not way back then? Why didn't this happen 20 years ago or, 30 years ago?
You're watching history happen. It says this is the end of what we call the Old West, the old mining camps. It says we've had a stronghold here for long time. And it says civilization's finally caught up to us,
And the tiny town of Wallace is left in financial ruin. Silver used to be $44 an ounce. Now it's down to a measly $4. 5 silver mines have already folded. And many locals looking for a silver lining in this dark cloud still long for the good old days when Sheriff Frank walked the beat.
I believe if Sheriff Crnkovich runs again, he could be reelected.
Is that popular?
He's a very popular fellow.
The sheriff has pled not guilty to all charges. His trial begins next week.